any discomfort is there to help you, right? What
Mm,
I like to say to people, what I truly believe is that nothing happening inside you is there to hurt you.
that's powerful.
Nothing happening inside you is there to hurt you.
Mm, okay.
Always there to help you.
Okay. So let's peel this discomfort a little. Why is it, why is it, how is it going to help me? I am so excited today. I have a very special guest with me on today's episode, and we are going to have quite the conversation. Welcome, Sandra, to the podcast. Would you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, I am. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here with you as always. Whether it's virtual, in person, I'm always glad to be with you.
Me too.
So, I'm Dr. Sandra Lewis, and I'm a clinical psychologist and personal energy strategist. I work with burned out women leaders to reignite that power to do what they want to do without sacrificing their values and well being. And I also work with organizations who want to increase employee engagement, fulfillment, purpose, performance, and reduce this chronic stress and burnout that keeps people from bringing their best to the work and getting the best out of the work, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Everybody needs you. Everybody needs you.
We want our work to be reciprocal, right? We want to give to the work, we want the work to give to us.
Yeah.
So those are the things that are my passion. Those two things are the missions that I'm trying to fulfill, because that helps us create a world where people are happy and living their best life. Right.
Create a world where people are happy and living their best life.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Let's do this. Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, I'm super happy to have you here, and I can't wait for people to get to know you better. So, I know you talk a lot about emotional intelligence. Let's really peel that a little bit, if you can, for everyone who's listening and watching. What what is emotional intelligence? Let's just
Yeah.
deal with that first.
So we can start with the whole, what we would say in psychology, right? So I don't know how many years, probably back in the 60s, two psychologists had this idea about emotional intelligence, and different ones have spoken about it before, right? Even there's something called interpersonal intelligence, where those are the people who are very good at reading others. So if we,
Mm,
right, to simplify it, right, we would say that emotional intelligence is this ability we have to be aware of, to monitor our emotions, to be able to modulate or moderate them, to recognize emotions in others, to use them for problem solving, and also to use them to connect and build better relationships. So
mm,
you can probably also hear that when we're using our emotional intelligence, we're better listeners because we can
mm.
hear and see other people. We hear, right? We listen to hear and understand rather than listen to respond, right?
Wow.
So oftentimes when we're listening to people, we're like, I know what you're gonna say. In the background, I know what you're gonna say. I'm ready with my answer, right?
Yeah.
When we're using our emotional intelligence, we're curious,
Mm,
right? And you could almost make it like playful, because I don't quite know what this person's gonna come with, but I know that I can listen and hear them, and then I could find something in me that matches that my authenticity, right? And
yeah.
on who they are.
Wow. I mean, you hit upon something very deep already, right? And this is why I love you, because we go deep, we go quick. We don't waste any time. But, this is something that I've been talking about a lot lately too, is that, why don't we have the capacity to hold space for others? And
Mhm.
it's really because we're so overwhelmed with our own emotions that either we haven't processed and are burdening us, or are processing and they're burdening us, or have processed them, but there's grief around that. Like, there's so much going on around our own emotions that I actually, until you just said it, did not ever equate emotional intelligence to having anything to do with helping other people with their emotions, or being there for them, or listening. Right. I didn't equate emotional intelligence with that. I just did that for the first time today. So thank
Mhm.
you.
Oh,
Thank you
you're
for bringing that together. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about why do we even need to focus on our emotions? I mean, yes, it will give us, the ability to listen to others in a better way and be curious, but for ourselves, why is that important?
Yeah, I think that the first one of the things that comes to mind is that we're not really often taught that our emotions are good. Like there are some that are good, like joy and love and happiness, right? We're like, you want those, you want those. But the other ones, you should try to push them away. If you have a bad, quote unquote, right, emotion, you should suppress it, push it
Yeah,
out. Don't, don't ever go around feeling angry. Don't, right? So here we are with this natural process, right? Because we have emotions. We're not going to stop having them because we're humans, right? We
absolutely.
sense, we perceive. It's like a superpower. It's a human superpower power to sense and perceive, right?
Mm. Wait, so
So
you're saying feeling angry, feeling frustrated, all that is a superpower? What?
yes, yes, right. And it doesn't feel like it because we've judged it to be bad for one thing. So once we've told ourselves, "Oh God, this is bad. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't feel." Now we've got ourselves in this bad place because we do feel this way. so,
Wow.
so I think that's one of the challenges, right? And if we think about the workplace, like as a psychologist working with people who are at their jobs, right? It's like at work you're told to leave your emotions at home.
Mm,
Or maybe they're not appropriate in the workplace, maybe they're not right. However, it's those feelings that get people to be creative, right? Like
mm,
if you're frustrated about a way a project is going, or you're feeling angry about something at work, there's a signal there, right? So as a psychologist, I learned to experience emotions as signals. And it was important to me as a person who was like, what do I do with my anxiety? What do I do with my fear? Right? Oh my God, this is the first time I ever lived away from home. I'm only 20. And all that's right. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So you're studying and you start to get these small little concepts. And then you start to realize, like, so your emotions aren't the worst thing. They're a signal. They're
mm.
so the example came to mind like during the pandemic when there were just so many crazy things happening in the world and everybody was home. So they had to watch them on television, right? And they felt
Yeah.
angry or harmed. I said, so your anger is telling you that your values have been violated.
Mm,
Your values have been violated, right? You're looking at this situation and you're saying, how could this be? How could this go on? Right?
yeah.
So your anger tells you that if your values have been violated, now you have something to say, oh, then how do I begin to realign with my values? What
Mm,
action can I take? It could be donating to a particular cause. It could be,
mm,
I'm going to get together with people in my community and see that we can create a space where we don't see these things, right?
mm.
Um,
I
so
want to
I
just point out real quick here what you just said, because you just showed us a real life experience of how we could all see emotions as a good thing. We felt fear, we felt sadness, we felt helpless. And then immediately from that place of fear and sadness and helplessness came the desire to give back or donate or create, have a collection going. And maybe if we didn't feel those emotions, we wouldn't have done that good in the world. So, I mean, it's so powerful. It's almost like you know this stuff, but when you hear it said that way, it just makes so much more sense.
yeah,
Right? So, thank you. Thank you for putting that out there as well. I love
yeah,
that example. Now,
yeah.
you've created a whole system,
Mhm.
a framework, so to speak, of how we can befriend our emotions, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? So, I love that. I love that concept. I love that title. And can you tell us a little bit more about this framework?
Yeah. So I've given you this kind of broad idea of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
When I work with people, I work with four different strategies: wisdom, rhythm, flexibility, and connection. And so what
Mm,
I did was to just look at, what emotional intelligence is and think about how it fits, how it relates to, because wisdom is about your awareness, right?
yeah.
Being aware of what's happening. Rhythm is about noticing the patterns. It's about noticing the order of things, creating order for yourself. Flexibility is about being able to shift, right? Because we get stuck.
Mm,
Antidote to stuck is shift. So sometimes that's shifting the way you look at it, think about a thing, right? Sometimes it's you get a cramp in your back and you just wiggle, right?
mm,
So it's right. So each one of these can be applied in different situations. Connection is about our connection to ourselves deep
Mhm.
connection to ourselves and the world around us. So when we feel stressed, we can connect to what our bodies are telling us and what's happening that we feel the stress. But we can also go and sit by a tree or
Mhm.
listen to some water or some birds, or as you and I have done, we can walk around the reservoir
Mhm.
and see what birds show up and just see what comes in our movement, right? So there's connecting to you because we're now holding space, right? And in polyvagal theory, they talk a lot about co-regulation.
Mhm.
So you're with somebody who's calm and you're able to find your calm. This is why I talk
Mhm.
about my grandmother all the time. She was the best co-regulator ever. So, supreme, I call her the supreme goddess of unconditional love, right?
Love
So
it.
anytime somebody can hold unconditional space for you, that's part of connection. So what I did was to take all those principles, right, and then just begin to look at how, right, emotional intelligence shows up across those principles and what
Mhm.
aspects of emotional intelligence I could, how I could use those strategies to help people practice emotional intelligence.
Mhm. I love that. That's a beautiful framework, and there's so much to unpack there. But I know we're trying to give people a brief overview today. What do you
Yeah.
think, for someone who's listening and they're feeling, just going through everyday stress, not really feeling a big emotion as such, or, they kind of have a system around managing their emotions, but is there a reason or a benefit to kind of sitting with your emotions on a regular basis? Because, when we feel big things, we might take the time to process them with somebody, a therapist or somebody. Sometimes when we feel big, heavy emotions, or we're going through something that's very tumultuous in our life, we can, we usually get help or talk to somebody. But what do you think are the benefits of doing this regularly? Or do you think it's just, better to deal with it when you have something big?
Yeah. You grow with it, and
Mm,
it grows with you. Here's the thing about emotions, we're never going to stop having them.
mm,
And one of the things you begin to realize eventually is that oftentimes we think of our emotions as something that happened something outside of us made us have this emotion, right? So,
mm,
oh, you said this and you made me feel, right?
mm,
One of the biggest gifts of emotional intelligence is recognizing that your feelings originate inside you. It's not like anybody comes and pours any anger or frustration or joy in you. You create that from your own.
mm,
So knowing that you create your emotions, that you literally have choice. That's the flexibility principle again. You have choice
mm,
about what you feel. And it takes time to grow that skill. So it's not something that people can say, oh, I went to a workshop and I learned this and it's over. It's day-to-day practice because eventually what happens is like when I'm in the fourth month with somebody who's really burned out, we're now you want to start living this thing from the inside out. You got to feel where it fits inside of you. And you
mm.
live whatever plan we created. We know it's working. We know it's helping you. But now, how does it feel? How do you put your own energy on it? How do you feel it inside of you? That's what happens when you practice regularly.
That's so interesting because as you were saying that we create emotions, like something inside me started to come up like, wait, I don't create anger inside of me. I don't create frustration. What are you talking about? Like it was uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
What is
Yeah.
that? Like,
Yeah.
why am I feeling that?
Yeah. It's uncomfortable because you've always thought that happened because somebody did a thing, right?
Oh,
But
so I can't
also,
blame anyone.
right. But you responded to the thing, right? Like I remember a young woman who was upset about her boyfriend and
Oh
something he
my
did.
God.
We
Okay.
were like all out.
I think this is amazing because we're showing people real time how this is going to work. So now I'm feeling
Exactly.
uncomfortable, Sandra. You just made me uncomfortable. You
Yeah,
made me
yeah. I
uncomfortable.
made you uncomfortable, right? You
No,
made me
I made myself
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
what is
you saw
happening
it.
inside me right now? Let's
Right.
process
So this
this.
is exactly what you and I were talking about in the beginning, right? We're saying, okay, there's a situation.
Yeah.
Something happened. You heard some information that had never come, right? And then you said inside yourself, there's no way that there's no way I created that.
Yeah.
Somebody did that. And then you said, shoot, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then like, wait a minute, Sandra, I couldn't have done that to myself, right?
Wow. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that you're making me feel uncomfortable. Why is my first instinct to look for someone to blame? Like, why is
Yeah.
that the first thought that, oh, you're making me feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, because who wants to think they would make themselves feel uncomfortable? That just creates all kind of cognitive dissonance because we're supposed to be building our best lives and we're supposed to be going for the joy and we're spiritual people. So we're supposed to be connecting. And how could I do this to myself? Right. So there's
Yeah.
a disconnect there. And then the other part is that it's just hard to think that we would do something harmful to ourselves. I mean, like who, right? Or
This is
hurtful.
so interesting. This is so interesting. And I'm glad we're having this live because I feel like I'm getting my own therapy right now. So this is what people can expect when they work with you.
Yes.
No, I think this is beautiful because you're touching upon so many things, right? There's this layer of judgment that we put on bad feelings, right? So if I'm feeling uncomfortable and I'm feeling like frustration or anger or something like that, that means it's not a good feeling. And if it's not a good feeling, then why would I ever do that to myself? I would not. So it just then the next automatic thought is, well, it must be someone else. So it's you, it's not me.
I would never do that to me. Right.
Yeah.
Of course you
Wow.
wouldn't do that to me. So and what I would say is that any discomfort is there to help you, right? What
Mm,
I like to say to people, what I truly believe is that nothing happening inside you is there to hurt you.
that's powerful.
Nothing happening inside you is there to hurt you.
Mm, okay.
Always there to help you.
Okay. So let's peel this discomfort a little. Why is it, why is it, how is it going to help me?
And you know that more than I do, right?
Mm,
If you were to peel back the discomfort, you know, what would you learn? What does the discomfort teach you, right? The discomfort could be saying, I'm going to take some guesses. Be nicer to yourself.
mm,
The discomfort could be saying, it's okay to look inside.
mm,
It's okay to learn more about your power.
mm.
It's okay to learn more about how your emotions help you. So it could be different for each person, but
Yeah.
that's what happens. We say, so discomfort, there's something here you trying to tell me.
Mm.
I don't really want to hear it because I don't think I brought you here in the first place. I feel like somebody else put you here, but
Yeah.
you're here, right? We can both acknowledge that it's here,
Yeah.
right? That's the wisdom, awareness. I'm aware it's here. I
Mm-hmm.
feel it in my body. I know it. I know it's here.
Mm.
Now, how do I begin to understand it, right?
Yeah. So the idea that I create these emotions within myself is uncomfortable, but it's here to tell me that there's more that I need to learn
Yeah,
about how emotions work in my body. And
exactly.
you're calling them a superpower, even the bad ones.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How are our emotions superpowers? Like what? You're blowing my
Absolutely.
mind today, girl.
Because, let's just think about if the emotion showed you the discomfort, like if we don't want to think that we actually have this creative source moving inside of us, look how much we would miss of our own ability, right? That, oh, if it's moving this way, guess what? I could actually shift it and get it to move a different way.
Mm,
That's actually pretty powerful.
yeah.
That we can change our experience of something. Yeah. So the example that comes to mind is when we get frustrated because somebody at work, somebody in our family, somebody in our life, our neighbor keeps doing the same thing over and over. And then we get pissed every time, right? We're just mad or we're frustrated. And at some point we decide they do this all the time. Why do I want to keep letting it bother me? Like, because like you start to feel like I'm giving all my control to this person or this thing. So you say, okay, the next time that happens, what I really want to do is this, how I really want to be, what I really want to say, and you shift your behavior. The fact that you can shift is power.
Mm,
It's shifting energy, changes.
I love that.
You have the power to shift whatever you feel. That's the flexibility principle. You can choose to look at
Mm,
it differently. You can choose to be different.
mm,
That's agency.
Wow.
That's power. And
Yeah.
these emotions, drivers, right? They're moving around. We feel them in our bodies. Our minds are saying things. We got this idea about a feeling, and they drove us to find something in
Mm.
ourselves to create something. So,
Yeah. Wow. So, I'm thinking about maybe we just as humans have not had enough experience working with our emotions, right? Because I'm for some reason I'm getting the visual of, when you touch something hot and you burn your hand, you immediately shift how you will react to hot things in the future, right?
mhm,
And we have that experience in the physical world so much, but I don't think we've taken the time to do that with our emotions, right?
mhm,
Unless like people who go to therapy or, have done some active work at their emotional growth.
yeah,
Normally, we're not taught to do this in school, right? Like if a kid is crying, it's like, stop crying. Why are you
mhm,
crying? What's wrong with you? Like those are the things we say, right?
yes,
Don't stop crying like a girl. Don't be a baby. Like
yeah,
these are the things that kids have heard since we were little, right? We've heard these
yeah,
things. So
yeah,
not only have we not learned how to process them, we've actually learned the opposite, that we don't need to process them. We need to shut them down,
yeah,
right? Oh my
exactly.
God. Yeah. What
So
are your
nobody's
thoughts around
giving
that?
us room, right? So there are more schools now these days that have social emotional learning,
Hmm.
right? And the research shows that teachers who are good at it have more active students. Students who are good at it do better in school, right? So
Yeah.
we know it's important. And but thankfully, there's something in us that wants to thrive,
Yeah.
right? So even though we didn't quite, right, get the emotional development that we might have wanted, right? We were able to manage and move through school, and we reach a point where we say, okay, but I need to work with this inside thing, right? And we know when we get that inside, you know, feeling more confident, feeling more comfortable in being who we are with our feelings,
Yeah.
get even better at what we do,
Yeah.
right? We get our lives, our everyday lives, like
Yeah.
nurturing our children. So, the kid who just keeps leaving his daggone socks on the floor, Oh, right? And then you're like, "Yeah, so I can work with this," right?
Yeah.
And I can say something about what this says to me is that this clean home and this clean environment that I wanna create for our family is not as important to you as it is to me. And the kid goes, "Oh, I hadn't even thought about it like that.
Mm.
I had thought that I was a part of a team, that we were as a family, we have a set of values, and it's my job to live up to those too." Right?
Yeah.
So you begin to just expand as you work with your emotions. How do you begin to see and share that with other people in your lives, in your
Mm.
life?
Yeah. So powerful. And, this is kind of one of the reasons why, I'm launching this new platform, Align. And it is really to, take some time to do this inner reflection and inner work. And I'm so, so excited that you're going to be offering this session on befriending our emotions. Can you talk us through a little bit about how we'll help people go through this on a weekly basis? Because this platform is going to be like a gym. It's going to be like when we go to the gym to work out, we have all these different classes we can try out to strengthen our body. And Align is going to be a studio, a virtual online studio that is always live and always accessible to you on a consistent basis, where you can take these sessions, these different types of modalities to heal your mind and your soul. And
Mhm.
so, what can people expect, and who should attend Befriend Your Emotions?
Yeah, anybody who has emotions, right, can attend. So all of us. I think, and the first thing is, for people when we come together, is to just become a group. So just a few minutes of settling in, coming together as a circle, right? And we're all here. We're all here. And slowing our mind down a little bit, because oftentimes we've been so busy, our minds are racing. We might have just finished getting the kids ready for dinner, right? Maybe sent that last email. So just to bring ourselves in. And then I have a series of different skills that fit within wisdom, rhythm, flexibility, and connection, that we'll just each week work on those with some self exploration activities, maybe some pen and paper where, so for example, one of the things like we just did with your whole idea around, oh God, my emotions happen inside of me, is to just begin first to say, I'm feeling frustrated and I can't stop feeling frustrated. Okay, well, let's talk about first the situation, right? So just identify the situation. Then you got to hear the thoughts because emotions are cognitive, they're physiological, and then there's the feeling that you have. So, what were you saying to yourself during the situation? What exactly could you name the emotion? That will be part of our process is learning how to name emotions, right? So, first step, we're going trying to figure out why you feel frustrated. Got a situation, you said a thing to yourself, you felt something in your body. You might have felt tingles, you might have felt tightness, and then as a result of that, you did a thing. That's consequences. And the thing you did could have been, "Ooh, it's too much for me. I'm going out of here." You shut down, you went off, you said, okay, I can't deal with that right now. Just let me go over here and do my email. Right.
Yeah.
So now you know, right? But the frustration is not dealt with. It's not digested, it's not processed. So now, but we know what your pattern is. We know you tend to turn to a new
Shut down.
thing, you to the side, shut it down. Once we know that, then we now know, guess what? You can also shift the pattern. So
Mm.
at the point that you said to yourself, "Oh, I don't want to deal with this," right? You took all the actions that matched, "I don't want to deal with this,"
Yeah.
right? So now you say, "Well, what would be this part that I could deal with?"
Mm.
Doesn't have to be big. You can
Mm.
start,
Yeah.
right?
I
And
love
then you
that.
can deal with that, right?
Yeah.
And it also works for the other way. Like if I want more joy in my life,
Mm.
I'm not having enough joy up in here. Then we think about what brings you joy.
Mm.
What are the situations that help you to create it? How do you know joy in your body? What does
Mm.
it feel like? And what are the consequences of having joy,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
Because guess what? If we create our emotions, right, we can
Yeah.
create joy.
We can create joy. I love it. Oh, I can't wait to create joy with you every single week. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about what do you think will be the benefit of someone doing this kind of exercise every week as opposed to going to a retreat, let's say once or twice a year? Like, what do
Mhm.
you think are the changes someone can expect in themselves?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I mentioned earlier is that you begin to live your understanding of you from the inside out rather than being guided by things you feel from the inside out and you know
Mm.
that what's happening inside you is guiding you to live your best life, guiding you to the next piece of growth for yourself, right? If we're talking about people who want to move, expand in their careers, their businesses, then now you have a skill that allows you to be inside of you and hear how these emotions are helping you problem solve because
Yeah.
emotions can help us solve problems and make decisions. So you get better at that, but you're going to be moving from inside to allow the inside to help you, even to be more creative, right? And then you're gonna make better connections. That you if you hire people, you're gonna be interviewing people. You're gonna notice who they are. You're gonna hear something in there, right? You're gonna notice their
Yeah.
emotions. You want to create a space where they're able to relate to you in an authentic, comfortable way, right? Where you can both be yourselves and you can get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I think you begin to develop this ability to listen, to hear rather than respond because when you listen to hear, you can partner. You
Mm.
work through things, right? You might
Yeah.
still go separate ways,
Yeah.
but right, you can honor each other in this partnership,
Yeah.
right?
It's such a
So
deeper, more meaningful connection at that point, right? And I think now we're seeing this, right? Everywhere you talk about leadership, emotional intelligence comes up. It didn't used to be the case, but now there's this awareness collectively about having more emotional intelligence. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be magical for people to consistently work on this, right? Because I also think about from, a mindset perspective. I talk about decluttering the mind all the time, and all that emotional stuff that we don't deal with, it just becomes clutter and it becomes heavy and it just sits there, right? And so when you're in that clutter, you can't think straight, you can't think clearly, you can't be there for anyone, right? So it is super beneficial to work on this every single week, right?
yeah, and I think what you reminded me of as you were talking about the clutter in the mind is some research that Korn Ferry, this huge corporation, did, where they found that corporations or businesses that had employees with higher self-awareness also had better bottom lines. So
Yeah.
they had better profit
Wow.
than organizations where they had lower self-awareness, right?
Mm,
So, and there's plenty of research now in emotional intelligence that shows you the benefits for people in business. But we want to realize that those benefits don't stop at your work. They follow
mm,
you in life.
yeah.
Why? Because you're going inside you.
Yeah.
You can't go in here,
Yeah.
right?
And they
That,
reflect in your bank account, apparently, according to this research.
yeah,
So, hey,
exactly,
let's
right. So
get
and
to
it's
work.
yeah, it reflects in your bank account, right? So
Yeah.
and your bank account, your physical, and I think also in your inner resource bank account, the
Yeah.
sort of sense of feeling a more competence just to navigate
Mm,
your everyday life.
yeah. The clarity. Oh, the clarity and the alignment that might come from that too is huge. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you one more question because I know this about you, and I don't think a lot of people might know this about you when they join this session, is that you have a lot of holistic wisdom as well, like different types of Eastern medicine, like those kind of can you talk a little bit about all of your quest or curiosity that has helped you
Yeah.
gain all of this wisdom? And what are some of those elements that you will bring into this session?
Yeah. So, I call myself a weaver because I like to see how things fit together to help people elevate their lives and expand and to grow. So as we were, the whole idea of wisdom, rhythm, flexibility, and connection grows out of an African philosophy, which says that everything in the universe works with everything else in the universe. Is called Ma'at.
Mm,
And I was talking about starting the sessions with settling in. That's a meditation practice that I've learned. And at the end, we'd also do something, yoga nidra, which is
mm,
about part of what we can use yoga nidra for is helping us to do that living from the inside out, to feel in our bodies where what we've learned lands, and
mm,
how it helps us to move through our everyday, right?
mm.
So it's like taking your yoga practice off the mat and into life,
I
right?
love it.
And the whole idea that your emotions happen inside of you actually grew out of my study of Chinese medicine
Mm.
and learning about how this energy system, the meridians, help to create emotions. And I was like, I literally, like you had that, what experience? I literally said to my teacher one day, I said, look, he was talking about faith and stuff. I said, look, I'm trying to work on this faith thing. And it don't seem to be happening. I feel faithful and then I fall apart. And then I don't know how to get out of the falling apart part, right? He says, because at that point, you've now already, all of your energy systems have already now worked to create this feeling where you feel this, like, I don't know what I could do.
Wow.
So there, in order to begin to help those meridians shift, one of the things you can do is you can listen to string music.
Mm.
So every time I would get in I would start listening to string music because
Wow.
inside it's nurturing that meridian system. And
Mm.
then I said, okay, I'm starting to feel something a little bit different. I got a little bit of wake up now. I can start to see, right? My mind now is starting to have other thoughts other than, shoot, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So now, right? So that those pieces. So this is why I teach people humming, chanting, singing, moving, all of those things can help you make a shift.
Mm. Oh my God. Wow. Well, I am super, super grateful that you've been on this quest to learn all of these amazing modalities. And not only do you have the science backed research, but you have the Eastern philosophies, the African philosophies, and all of that coming together to offer so many different ways for us to not just navigate our emotions, but use them to really build this mind, body, spirit connection and heal together. So I can't wait for people to experience the magic that you're going to bring to align in the session that you do with Befriend Our Emotions. And I can't wait for people to listen to more about you and follow you and find you. So tell us, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram mostly. That's what I'm working with now.
Okay.
So on LinkedIn, I'm Dr. Sandra Lewis. And on Instagram, I am at The Living Source. So that's the name of my business, right?
Okay, beautiful. And we'll put all the links in the show notes So they will have that. I am so great. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you for being a part of Align and the facilitators that have come together. I think each one of you is a gem. And I can't wait for everyone to experience the magic that you have to offer, because we all deserve to peel, feel, and heal and be the best version of ourselves. So appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.